Hi everyone, my name is Beth and I wanted to show you what I was doing today. I am winter sowing. I am in Northeast Ohio and we do have a true winter here where we get the snow, the cold temperatures. Um, this year we're a little on the mild side, so I'm hoping that changes where we have some really cold months. Um, so anyhow, what I'm doing today is a winter sowing, and so this is my fourth year doing it. I am sowing the milkweed, the common milkweed, that is native to our area. And I started doing the milkweed winter sowing this will be my fourth year doing it. I do have a video showing what happens when I plant the milkweed. I winter sow it, then when I get the sprouts, then I transplant it to my butterfly section. I call it my butterfly garden. And it attracts the monarch butterfly, and she lays her eggs on the leaves. And they're little white eggs, and then they turn into the little caterpillars. And those little caterpillars, one caterpillar will eat probably between 20 and 25 leaves. So if you do grow these, you want to make sure that you do a nice supply, because the first year I had over 50 caterpillars, and it was very cold. But you want to make sure that you have enough for everybody, and so they can eat up, the food that you're providing. Milkweed is the only host plant that the monarch butterfly will lay her eggs on, and it's the only thing that the monarch caterpillar will eat. Some people said, if they ran out of milkweed for an emergency, they did feed them something else, but I'd have to look that up. Anyhow, the milkweed is definitely for the monarch. So I am winter sowing that, and I'm also doing some parsley and some lavender. And I'm going to do a couple of the Mexican sunflower. And the Mexican sunflower, the butterflies absolutely love. So once they become the butterfly, they love the pollen from here. And these all attract, the birds. I have all kinds of flowers that I plant. The zinnia, the butterflies love. The marigolds, the butterfly loves. So I plant all of that, the butterfly bushes. And the birds love the zinnia, so there's a lot of wild, good stuff going on in the yard. So anyhow, getting back to what I'm doing here. Okay, so these I ordered off of Amazon. There was 25 of them that I ordered because I do a lot of winter sewing. And go lay down. Abby's getting a little jealous. Every time I get on the camera or on the phone, she gets a little jealous. She's my 3-year-old black lab. But anyhow, so I ordered these containers, and I ordered 25 of them from Amazon. And the 25 did not come with the lids, so I went ahead and ordered 25 of the clear lids that fit on this container. I usually would get like this from Drug Mart, but I always got the deep dish lasagna dish pans, and they only had the cake pans, so it's not quite as deep as this one. So I like it deeper, so the soil won't dry out quite as fast, but you still can use this if you had to. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you do have to check it more often and make sure the soil doesn't dry out if you're having a dry winter. So something to keep in mind if you do get a pan like that. So I go with the deeper one, and I drill holes in the bottom. So here I probably put like, I don't know, 7 or 8 holes in the bottom, and that's for drainage. And then for the lid, I couldn't figure out a real easy way to put holes in it because it would crack. So I was using my lighter, and see if I could show you. And you got to be really fast because it melts real fast. And there's one hole, another one, there's another hole, another one, And I'm going to do one more. And you got to pull it away really fast or you're going to have a big gaping hole in it. So I got 4 holes, which should be enough. And after I put the holes in there, then I'm going to add my soil. And I already got this one already. And I added my favorite potting soil. You want to use a good potting soil. You don't want to use a seed starting soil. This is totally different when you're winter sowing. So I use my Happy Frog potting soil, and I'll show you what that looks like. And this time I actually added some worm castings. It's my first time adding worm castings to my winter sowing, but I thought, well, why not? Let me see what happens. So, but let me go ahead and I'll show you what the Happy Frog soil looks like. Okay, so there is the Happy Frog potting soil. It's just a really good potting soil. I like it. It does have some fertilizer in it. And then there is the worm casting, which I use in my garden and everything, but I did add just a little handful in with the container. And I'm just going to mix that in. Okay, so once you get the soil in there, then you will, I'm walking it over to my sink, because I do have one of those sprayers, and I am going to get the soil pretty wet. So I do have a lid on the bottom with no holes so that it won't drip all over the place. Okay, and that's about enough there. And all the excess, of course, is going to drain out on the bottom. But it is important to get this nice and moist. So I already have this one ready, and I already did the seeds. So one of these held 1 packet of seed. There's like 25 to 30 seeds that were in each packet of the milkweed. And you just, spread it around. And then I am going to put, let me get some more soil here. I'm going to top that off. And I'm going to put some more soil on top. I'm not putting a lot. Just enough to cover them, because I didn't want them. You can surface sow them. In fact, that's what they say. You could surface sow, but I'm just afraid the seed, and they even say it could dry out a lot faster, and I don't want it to. So there was a light amount of soil I put on top, and then I'm going to wet it again. And then that is ready for the lid to go on it. And one thing I really like about these containers is they, you put that on and you can actually fold the sides, so you're kind of locking that lid on there. Because, if we have a storm and it blows and stuff, oops, I forgot to put the marker in there. Let me take this off. That's one thing. You do want to put your marker in there. So I do have a milkweed marker already made. And then you can put the lid on and secure it. Like this one, I already have it all secured. I did forget to put the marker in here, but I am not going to worry about it right now. And these are already done. I just have to put the lids on. Cover that one up. So I have to put the lids on, and then from there I take them outside, and I'll show you what I have done out there already. It's kind of dark out, but I have several containers that are already done and ready for the weather. Okay, so that's about it. That's what I do with my winter sowing. So I have this ready. So I'm going to add my lavender to this one. I hope that was easy enough to understand what I did. You just get the containers. You got to put the holes in the top and the bottom because you want, the snow will go on top or the rain will go in there. And you need to make sure there's drainage holes so that it won't get waterlogged. But from that point, you put these all outside. And like I said, we're supposed to get snow on Friday. And if it continues to snow, I've had them buried in a foot of snow outside for quite a while. And sorry, I got a little distracted there. But you just put them out there and you forget about it. And what you're doing is creating a little greenhouse. So when spring comes and everything starts melting, but it's still cold out, you might have some germination. Let's say the first week after it warms up. They will germinate when they're ready, and you got to be patient. Sometimes it could take, being warm, like in March here, a couple weeks, and we got a couple nice temperatures out there. And if they haven't sprouted yet, you're going to leave this on there. Again, you're going to make sure that it doesn't completely dry out. You want to keep it moist. But once you start getting the sprouts, and that's, and if it really warms up, then you want to take this off because you don't want to burn those seedlings because it is like a greenhouse and it will get warm in there. And then, if you take the lid off, open it up, and depending on how your weather is, water it like you normally would your plants or your seedlings. But if it's going to get cold again, you want to put this back on. And you want to protect them because now that they have sprouted, and if they are calling for a frost, your seedlings are going to be in trouble. So you got to make sure you put this back on and, cover them with blankets, whatever you have to do to protect them. If you had to, if it's going to be a couple day stretch of you're going to have a freeze, you want to bring them in the house. That's what I would do anyhow. Or, I have my greenhouse, but you want to protect them once they sprout. And that's it. So I like it because you've seen all the containers I have outside, and then I still have all of these. I got another one over there and a couple more I got to do. And so these all got to go outside, and they're not going to take up any space in my house. So winter sowing, it's awesome. And also I wanted to show you now there's several different containers you can use. One is like a milk jug. And if you're going to use a milk jug, you just kind of cut, let's say starting here, and you're going to go all the way around to this side, but you're going to leave about this much uncut. So it's still, these are all still connected. And then you have like a hinge where you pull it back. And then you want to put holes in the bottom for drainage. And let's say if, you get if you have a family that you guys drink a gallon of milk a week or whatever, but you want to make sure they're not the solid white jugs. They have to be, semi-clear so the sun can get in there. But anyhow, you would put holes in the bottom, then you put the dirt just like I did with these containers. And then put a marker in there in your seeds and you close it up. And then you want to use duct tape or something to keep it closed. And the lid, you can toss that because that is going to be your top hole where the snow can get in there, the rain can all get in there. And that is a very popular thing that people use to winter sow in. And you can look up different plants that you can winter sow. The peppers in our Northeast Ohio, I would not suggest doing that because I don't think we have a long enough growing season to get the most harvest out of your peppers. Because the peppers, I start indoors. It's going to be like about 10 weeks prior to our last frost. So, if you winter sow it, they won't start sprouting until the weather warms up. So that's why I don't think we have a long enough growing season to winter sow peppers. And tomato plants are kind of iffy on that. I start those indoors too. So different things to think about. Flowers are good. I'm going to do a couple of zinnias, the Mexican sunflowers. So I think that is about it. You know, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. You know, there's a lot of different other containers too. If you want to try, you know, the rotisserie chicken containers that you get from Costco's or Mark's or something like that, you know, wash it out really good, but they have that bottom, you know, where you could put your soil in, and then it has a clear dome top. That would work, you know, but you got to put your holes in there and the soil. So, you know, you can get really creative on the containers. I like these because I feel like it gives a lot of room and the soil depth. So anyhow, I think that is it, but I did want to share that with you. And like I said, any questions, just go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I will talk to y'all later. All right, bye.